Hey, what's happening, party people? It's your favorite leather craftsman, the Leather Cowboy, right here at Premier Leather Crafters. Now, it's a little nippy. To be Florida, it's pretty cold today. But here we are. We are in the finishing stages of those custom knife sheaths that I showed you guys in the previous video. And these are getting ready to go out. Trying to get these out here so they can be in the mail in time for Christmas. But this is how they will wind up looking, like this. And then we have the wrap around the handle, which will be a snap right there. Just like the one that I am carrying here. Let me angle this down so you guys can see. But just like the one I carry. Now, one thing that I tell all crafters, if you're not wearing your own products, how can you expect somebody else to wear yours? So start wearing your own stuff. That's easy advertisement. But we're getting ready to prep the welt onto these. And you want to make sure that you are in a well-ventilated area. This is why I'm outside in the cold. Because weldwood, ladies and gentlemen, weldwood to have you flying if you're in an enclosed space. This stuff is stout. Now, I don't know of a contact cement that is not stout or strong, but this stuff is the bee's knees. Now, you can get this at Wally World for 10 bucks. You can get this at Walmart for 10 bucks. Way cheaper than what you would buy at your local leather craft store. But at the same time as well, I think it holds stronger than what you buy at your leather crafter. Now, that's not a knock on anybody. It's really what you feel. And what we're doing, we're just taking the popsicle stick and running the first run down this side. I'm going to show you guys an easy trick that I do to make sure that your welt is in a line, properly aligned with your stitching holes. Now, some people, they will have they have long enough punches, or if they have a sewing machine, the sewing machine can stick through there. Now, I'm still figuring out this patch machine. It's still not where I want it to be. So, but if you guys give me some time, I'm going to have the patch machine up and working and show you guys that is a beautiful for the price. You can't complain about the pricing on that. The pricing on that patch machine, that even though it's made in China, the work that I've seen from the videos right here on YouTube, those crafters are really raving about that patch machine. So, man, this stuff is strong even outside. Golly. Now, with this weldwood, you want to let it set and get tacky before you bind this together, just like with any other contact cement. And I'm going to put one side together and fully bond it overnight. Then I'm going to come back and do the other side and then bond it all together to make sure that my needle goes all the way through all three pieces of leather. So this is what I want to make sure we do. Now, if you guys can see that, I have a pin mark where it needs to butt up right up against the edge of this leather piece here. And then I'm going to use my pins. Now, this is the tip of the trick. I take straight pins and I go through the first hole. We're going to go through the first hole and then come down probably about halfway and then go down to the bottom part there and make sure that the pins go all the way through, and that makes sure that my welt is properly aligned. So just some little small tips and tricks like that, especially when you are first starting out and you don't have a lot of money to invest, but little small stuff like that can get you by a long way. All right, so we're going to put this together. I'm going to make sure that so you guys can see this. I'm just going to take this. You can see my punches that I've already punched into the welt, and then I've already punched my holes into my leather sheath here. So I'm just going to line this up now with the leather. Now, I'm just going to get it lined up just enough so I can take my first pin. I'm going to take my first pin and go through that first punch hole right there. And you guys can see that's going through there. So I know that it's properly aligned when I get ready to stitch this. It's going to be lined up perfectly. I'm going to take another pin and come down here right at the curve, the first curve. Well, basically the biggest curve. Now, even if it doesn't go all the way through, just pull this back so you can see. Pull that back so you can see where it's going into your hole. You guys just bear with me for a minute. There it is, right there. And then that's in there all the way through. So I can go ahead and press this together. And then I'm going to take my last pin, and you can see how it's off right here. I'm going to just push this down, line it up, and then I'm going to go through the last hole right there. And now I know that my welt is perfectly aligned with my stitching holes. Now, one thing that you also want to do is make sure that your pins are straight and not crooked, because you don't want to start stitching this and one of your stitching holes is off. Now I'm going to come back. Now that I know that my holes are lined up properly, I'm going to come back, pull the pins out, and now I'm going to put my other leather piece up here and start putting my clamps down. Boom. Be careful not to move your welt. Be careful not to move the welt. I think I'm going to push this a little bit down further. And then we're just going to set that up, let it fully dry and bond overnight. And once it fully dries and bonds, then I'm going to come back and we'll contact cement that side. And we'll do the same thing with the pins on the other side to make sure that it goes through all three pieces. Little small tricks and tips, ladies and gentlemen. And it makes your work goes very well. Now, I know that I left it specifically a little overhang. So when I get ready to sand this down and burnish it, I want to make sure that all of those leather fibers burnish together. So when we put the gum trag on there and the edge coat is going to make it all look like one piece of leather. That's the bee's knees. That separates a lot of crafters from their work, because it's the finishing. The finishing is what sets them up. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. How do you stop this? There we go.